close, doors past open. It is a hearing and it's an open meeting. So.
Perfect. Well, good afternoon, everyone. According to my trusty little phone, it's 4 o'clock. So I will now officially open the Committee of Adjustment meeting. We do have regrets today from member Matt Duff. So we'll just let that be known. And also just to advise everyone that we are live streaming. So everything will be recorded here. So if you do have comments today, come up to the center podium there. There's a red button on the mic, and if you press it, then you'll be able to speak to all of us, and if you have questions or anything. So we will be following our agenda that's posted on our monitors, or you may have a copy. So we'll move right in and ask, is there any call for deferral or withdrawal of any matter before the committee?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I might just check with our planner, Linda. Everything's go on both hearings? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And therefore, there will be no changing to the hearings. So I'll ask all of our members today, is there anybody that has any declaration of pecuniary interest? No, seeing none. That can move us into number 3 in our agenda, minutes of previous meeting. So we have before us our past meeting, which was in June the 15th. If I can have a mover, member Stanners, seconder, member Sheik. So I have a recommendation that the minutes of the Township of Mapleton Committee of Adjustment hearing held on June the 15th, 2022 be confirmed as circulated in the agenda package. Were there any errors or omissions? No. So hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those against? The motion is carried. Did anyone have any matters arising from the minutes? No. Okay, so that brings us into our applications for minor variance. We have 2 applications today. So I just wanted to welcome everyone to this is a public meeting for the Committee of Adjustment. We will follow the order of the hearings as provided in our agenda package, and each application shall be reviewed with the provided information, and no precedent shall be set, and each application will be viewed on their own and will be required to meet the 4 tests. So that brings us into 5.1, hearing number A 2022-8. The location of the subject property is legally described as Part Lot 1, Concession 1, Peel, and is municipally known as 7981 Wellington Road 86. The purpose and effect of the variance application is to provide relief from the minimum front yard setback for a storage structure. The owners are proposing to construct a 798 square foot or 74 square meter structure to store products produced on site. The location of the existing structures and infrastructure on the site limits the location of the proposed building. The required front yard setback is 18.2 meters or 60 feet, whereas the variance is to permit a setback of 9.7 meters or 32 feet. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. So at this time, I'll ask upon our Secretary Treasurer regarding notifications, comments, and received to date, Larry Wheeler.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Staff can confirm that agencies and Mapleton staff were provided with the required notice on or before August 30th. Posting was completed on site September 2nd. There were no issues or concerns expressed by Mapleton staff nor by agencies. The planning report prepared by Mapleton planner Linda Redmond was received and is included in the agenda package. There were no ratepayer comments received at this time. Thank you.
So at this time, I'd like to call upon our township planner, Linda Redmond, to give us her report.
Only one. Interesting. Good afternoon, committee. So this application is before you because the applicants would like to construct a storage building for their existing processing business on their property. They did receive zoning for that use back in 2016. So obviously they're growing and that's great news. So they need more space for storage. Before the application was made, we did discuss the location of that building. And the reason that it is in the front there is because there's limitations with respect to their septic, which is behind the existing accessory structure on the property. There's a distance required between any buildings and the septic, so that limited the location. And then they need it in close proximity, obviously, to the building because it's their storage area. So that's the best location for it. And we felt that the minimum setback was still the setback to the road was still big enough that there wouldn't be any sightline issues. So we had no concerns with the request to reduce that somewhat. So we are supportive of this application.
Thank you for your comments. At this time, if Mr. or Mrs. Bowman would like to introduce themselves, if you have any comments to the application, it's entirely up to you. If so, you can come to the mic and then just press the little button.
So I'm on? Okay. Well, thank you for looking at this application. And as was pointed out, the business has grown more than anticipated, or the original building would have obviously been increased in size at the time. However, this is where we're at, and storage would be for including some product processed on site, but more so for empty chairs or skids of empty chairs that are waiting to be filled, which is always a semi-trailer load at a time, so kind of need cushion. Currently stored at her brother's place on the farm behind this property, but brother wants to use the building for himself now, so that's why this has come up. And I don't know if I have much more to add other than just in the last couple of days, the issue has arisen if we should go to 42 feet as opposed to 38. And I don't know if that rocks the boat. I think the investigation showed we're still within the allotted square footage. We wouldn't be changing the 32 feet setback, but we'd be looking at, and not neither the side yard at 10, but extending the building another 4 feet. If that is something that could be considered. Again, we certainly don't want to jeopardize the application, but if that's something that would be agreeable to the committee, then probably the only comments I have.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else attending that would wish to speak to the proposal? Okay. So at this time, I'll call upon our committee members if they have any questions or concerns for our planner or the applicant. I'll just start to my right. Member Stanners, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Chair. I really don't have a problem with it close to the road. Like, there is other buildings in that area that are within that distance. So as far as that, I'm not concerned at all. The only thing I wanted to clarify is the building height. There's no exterior elevation shown on any of your paperwork. And on the very last page of your application, it's a pencil drawing, which I probably, it says 10-foot ceilings. We are only going 1 floor, are we not? Correct, okay, that's my only concern. It says ceiling, here's a ceiling, and there's a ceiling, and we have a problem down. I just wanted to clarify that, but other than that, I have no problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'm calling upon Member Sheik, your comments or concerns?
Thank you, Chair. So my first question is, this is considered an accessory structure. And I can see that there's the existing canning building and looks like another building. And I just didn't notice in the application that you're only asking for setback. And so the question to the planner is, through you, Chair, is do they meet or do they need a minor variance as well on the square footage of accessory sheds on the property, and or the percentage of the lot coverage, is that met as well?
Thank you. Through you, Chair. This is actually not an accessory structure. The zoning of the property that they obtained in 2016 provided home industry provisions for them. So this use falls under the home industry provisions. And that's what the site-specific exemption says. So what that means is that they are permitted to go up to a maximum of 2,500 square feet for a home industry building. So the two buildings combined are under that 2,500 square feet. Even with the most recent request to go a bit larger, we did a quick calculation before we came in here. That's why we were a bit late. And they're still under the 2,500 square feet. So there's no need for another variance to address that. As long as they maintain the front yard setback that's being requested, they are fine. We don't need to include an additional variance for it.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Member Kiyomo, your questions or concerns?
I don't have any questions or concerns. I think two other members covered the pieces that I was wondering about. So I don't have any issues with this particular application. No.
The only question that I have, and perhaps planner, you can ask, why aren't we receiving anything from the County of Wellington anymore, Planning Department?
I think we are. I think this is the first one in a while we haven't. I think we have been. They've been late sometimes, so maybe they're not included in my report, but they come later. This one, we didn't. I don't know. Holidays? I don't know. They were circulated, just so everybody's aware.
Thank you. That's good clarification. Okay, does anyone else have anything before I? Okay, well then I think I have a motion in front of me here. Recommendation, if I can have somebody to first it for me, or Member Sheik?
Sorry, are you amending it to increase the 4 feet or no? No, okay, just clarifying on that, okay.
Okay, so if I can have a member first, Member Sheik, second, Kiyomo. Okay, I have before me a recommendation then that the minor variance applied for in application 202208 located at Part Lot 1, Concession 1 Peel, municipally known as 7981 Wellington Road 86, to provide the following relief as proposed. The front yard setback to be proposed at 9.7 square meters or 32 square feet. Any other questions or concerns before I call the question?
Mr. Chair, should that not just be 32 feet, not 32 square feet? And like 9.7 meters square, it's just a distance. It's not a square. Thank you.
So let's just change that. So I'll read this again. That the front yard setback proposed is 9.7 meters or 32 feet. Thank you, Member Stanners. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion is granted. So let it be known that we, the members of the Committee of Adjustment, find that the four tests have been considered. The variance is minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate development or use of lands, buildings, and structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan, and the variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. So that concludes our hearing for that A 20208. So thank you for your attending. So following along the agenda package, that moves us into 5.2, which is hearing A 2022-09. The location of the subject property is legally described as Part Lot 5, Concession 15 Peel, municipally known as 7811 14th Line. The purpose and effect of the variance application is to provide relief from the minimum distance separation 2, MDS 2, from type A land use. The applicants are proposing to construct a new livestock facility for pork production, which will require relief from the nearest neighbor's dwelling. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. So at this time, I'll call upon our Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Larry Wheeler, regarding notifications and comments received to date.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Staff can confirm agencies and Mapleton staff were provided with the required notice on August 30th. Postings on site were completed September 2nd. There were no issues expressed by Mapleton staff and no issues or concerns expressed by the agencies. Planning report prepared by Mapleton planner Linda Redmond was received and included in the agenda package, and no ratepayer comments were received prior to the creation of the agenda. Thank you.
So at this time, I would ask our township planner for her comments on this application.
Thank you, Chair. This is standard MDS setback relief for a new hog facility, I believe. Yeah, pork. The report speaks for itself. I have no concerns with the request.
Thank you. I noticed that Rick's in attendance. I don't know if you want to speak to us, or give any comments, or just if we have questions, we can ask you. Okay. Yep, perfect. Sure. And I have to say, anyone else attending that would like to, and there isn't anybody. So at this time, I'll start to my far left this time. Member Kiomo, if you have comments or concerns on this application.
Concerns at all? Again, it would appear that even though that separation seems to be a little low compared to the calculation, two neighbors seem to be all right with it. The other house, I take it is going to disappear as a house. So from that point of view, I don't see any issues with this additional barn.
Thank you for your comments. Member Sheik, have your comments or concerns?
I have no concerns for this application or comments to make.
Thank you. And Member Stanners.
Thank you, Chair. I have a couple little questions. It says on this application, the date of acquisition is May 2023. And it made me think at first, is this something that we're approving for something that somebody's going to buy next year? Either that or it's a misprint, right?
Yeah, this will start next year, May.
The structure will or something, right? Oh, okay, but it's in the form here that on this, well, section D, item 11, date of acquisition of subject property, May 2023. So it made me think at first that it's for some future owner, but
No, it's for me, but yeah, I think it's based on planning, so I like to get this step done first, then I can invest more time and money into it. Getting it planned and approved and starting it is supposed to be made.
okay, thank you. When I first looked at this, I wondered why it can't be built farther back on the property, but then I seen that there's windmills back there and I wouldn't want to have any livestock near a windmill just from
Yeah.
stories I've heard of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
And my last question, if the neighbor, like you're saying, and the house is abandoned and to the planner, what would happen to that property down the road if whoever owned it changed hands or something wanted to build a house on that property? Would they be limited because of this pig barn? Or if they are limited, does the owner of the property right now know that it will put a restriction on wherever they could build a house down the road?
Thank you. Through you, Chair. For your first question, answer your first question, if the house is removed, when they go to rebuild, they will have to meet MDS setbacks to the surrounding livestock facilities. It's a requirement under the zoning bylaw. So they may not be in a position to put it back where it is now. They will probably have to relocate it. Or they could come to the Committee of Adjustment for a variance to allow them to put it back where it was. To answer your second question, does the owner know that? I don't know. I don't know if they know that. It depends on how well versed they are with the MDS requirements.
Thank you.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I don't have any questions or concerns either. So did you have anything else that you wanted to share, Rick? No, you're fine. Okay. So I have a motion in front of me, a recommendation. If I can have a member to first, member Stanners, second, Kiomo. Okay, I have a recommendation that the minor variance applied for in application A 202209, located at part lot 5, concession 15 Peel, municipally known as 7811 14th line, to provide the following relief from section 6.17.2 of the Mapleton zoning bylaw 2010-080 as proposed. That the MDS2 setbacks to type A use to the neighbor's address, so for 7793 14th line, proposed at 429 meters. To the neighbor's address, 7851 14th line of 529 meters. To the neighbor's address, 7871 14th line, 697 meters. Any other clarification or comments? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those against? This motion is granted. So let it be known that we, the members of the Committee of Adjustment, find that the 4 tests have been considered. The variance is minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate development or use of lands, building, or structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. So that concludes our hearing. Thank you for attending, Rick. And if you have any other questions, I'm sure the planning or the building department will be in touch. So that leads us into our agenda package. Number 6, our general business. We have circulation of our remuneration sheets. Our Secretary Treasurer, Larry Wheeler, will have that for us. And at the same time, we have upcoming hearing dates scheduled to October the 12th and November 9th and December 14th. I believe that's everything. And so I will now declare this meeting is adjourned. Aye.